All right, everyone, welcome to the Sigma Region 15 Town Hall. It is a wonderful evening to be with you all tonight to share some information about our Sigma Region 15 Research Symposium that is going to be hosted at the UVM Davis Student Center on Saturday, October 4th of this year. We have an unprecedented amount of abstracts that we have received for this particular symposium that we're all very excited about. This is really going to put Vermont on the map, and our symposium committee wanted to make a concerted effort to reach out to all Vermont nurses to let them know sort of what this event is, what it's about, where it started, where it's going, and ways to get involved. I am joined by Emily Duncan. She's my co-host this evening. She's going to be monitoring the chat, progressing the slides. We also have the chair of our web and social media, Christian Gray, on. He's going to be letting all of our speakers get a little heads up and cue about when you're going to speak so you know when you're coming next. We're going to ask you to monitor the chat. We're going to put some poll questions in there. Please, if you have questions, concerns, throw a question in the chat. Emily will monitor that. Next slide, please, Emily.
Oh, goodness.
So my name's Jason Kirchick. I am the regional coordinator for North America, Region 15. I was humbly elected by a delegation of over 500 at our last biennium for 2023-2025. My coverage of this is all 11 states across New England, as well as Nova Scotia, Canada. It has been wonderful to be a part of this region. We have such an active membership. For those who don't know a lot about Sigma, and maybe Sigma is new to you, we have over 100,000 nurses in over 600 chapters in over 100 countries. And I think Region 15 is probably one of the best, but I'm partial. But of course, I'm up for biennial election this year, so I don't know if they put that in the rules. I have to say something. But one of the things I'm most proud about is that because of the work of our strategic planning committee and all of our committees, we have gone from an unprecedented amount of abstract submissions for this symposium, where we've had 16 abstracts last year and over 68 this year. And we think, again, one of the things is that people really wanted to come to Vermont during fall foliage. And maybe that's one of the things that we didn't anticipate. But we're going to do some really good polling this symposium. All of our abstract submissions, and many of you are actually joining us tonight. Congratulations, and thank you for submitting those abstracts. They're phenomenal. Really, we're going to get some information. What was the decision to come to this symposium? If you're on tonight, drop it in the chat. Was it Vermont? What was it that drew you to submit an abstract? So that's a little bit about me. I am here to support all the 32 chapters of Region 15, make sure the chapter leaders have the supports and services they need, that the members have the information they need for everything that Sigma membership has to offer. Next slide. So this is our purpose statement when we really look at what the symposium vision sort of was: scholarship, leadership, and research. And it was to advance nursing practice and promote equity by showcasing innovative research, fostering critical reflection and inspiring collaborative action in nurse among Sigma members. And I think what's most exciting is that Sigma was started by 6 nursing students. And that's why a huge part of what we've wanted to do for this symposium is offer it for as affordable as possible for every student. So every student, if they want to attend this symposium virtually, it's free. They get 6 CEUs, they get to join in virtually, engage with all the presenters, the opening ceremony. That's an incredible value. When you think about symposiums and conferences today, they're often very expensive. And that's something we're trying to pass on. If a student attends in person, it's $35. And, a balance between covering meal costs, and obviously meal costs are higher, but we want them at the table. And a lot of this goes to our organizational call to action this biennium. Represent. How do we represent and bridge those opportunities for innovative fostering, innovative research, scholarship, leadership, and all of those things that we want to bring on to nurses and nurse leaders alike? Next slide, please. So this symposium has its own history and evolution, and I could tell you about this, but we have one of those nurse legends on tonight. We've got the incandescent Nancy Thompson. If you can go to the next slide, Emily. Nancy is just phenomenal. She's chair of our abstract. She's overviewed. She's been part of this from the very beginning, and I think Nancy should tell this story. So Nancy, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. I've been called many things, but never incandescent. I'll have to look that one up and make sure it's positive. And to continue Jason's bragging on our region for the symposium, our keynote speaker is Dr. Melanie Dreyer, who at one time in the 90s was the president of Sigma Theta Tau International. We were also very lucky at the University of Massachusetts Amherst to have her as our dean before she went on to the University of Iowa and then to Rush. She is an absolutely, and you'll see my colleagues shake their head, absolutely an incredibly engaging, intelligent, visionary speaker. So I encourage you all to attend, even if you just come to hear Melanie. So in terms of this symposium, I see Deb Kremlich is here as well, one of my colleagues. This was started in October of 2018. And what happened is we put together a short summary at the end of our wrap-up meeting. And how this started is I'm going to read this because I think it says it better than I could say it. An initial conference call was held in December of 2017 to discuss the Sigma Region 15 collaborative event to be planned and held in 2018. So regular conference calls involved 7 Region 15 members from January of to October of 2018. Region 15 different chapter members who collaborated at the time were Patty Barstack, Penny Sessler Brandon, who served as the chairperson of the committee, Lila Backu, myself, Deb Kremlich, Jennifer Ort, and Jennifer Alice Vasquez. And between the calls, we did our work, and then we would come back to our group sessions and share our updates. We were able to secure a keynote speaker. We held this at the Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. It was a lovely setting. We were the ones that developed that logo that you just saw for our event. And we wound up having 73 people attend, including a small number of nursing students. And we had podium presentations as well as poster presentations. The day before the symposium, on a Friday, because we were so close to New York City, we had an event at the United Nations, and we were hosted there for a luncheon, and we were given a tour because, as you know, Sigma is one of the organizations that is part of the United Nations, and it was really exciting to go there. So what we decided was, since the evaluations were excellent for this very first small symposium, that we would continue it within the region. So the second symposium that was held in Portland, Maine, and Deb Kremlich was the chair of that particular symposium. And that was very successful. It was a great setting. And on the Saturday and the day after our symposium, we went to, I don't remember the name of the island, but this little island off the coast of Portland. And in 2000, that was Kappa Zeta at large in 2019. In 2020 was our first virtual, obviously, our first virtual Peaks Island. Thank you, Deb. Virtual symposium because of the pandemic rather. And it was held by Eta Iota at large chapter, which is comprised of the chapters in New Hampshire. And then in 2021, we had our second virtual symposium at Beta Zeta at large at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. In 22, Row chapter at Dalhousie University in Nova Scotia hosted the 22 symposium. And in 23, Alpha Chi at Boston College hosted, and in 2024, Delta Epsilon at Large in Rhode Island hosted. So we've moved from having 73 attendees to 80 plus to 150 plus to 211, 154. Obviously, the higher numbers came with the virtual accessibility, 113. And last year, I think it was 100 plus. We had a few numbers of students. So it's been a wonderful and exciting journey to see how this has developed and brought our Sigma colleagues together in this region. I know I'm very proud of all the work that everyone has done, and it certainly expands our horizons in terms of meeting our colleagues and gaining a lot of new knowledge and sharing with people who are in our profession. And that's all I have to say. I'm very excited to go to Vermont. I'm still looking forward to going to the teddy bear factory, hint, hint, Jason. But looking forward to hearing all the nursing research that's been going on in our region. And if anyone has any questions, please ask away. And thank you for the opportunity to share the history.
Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. And I'm very proud. We've got Cheryl Shields on, who's going to be coming up next. Are you with us, Cheryl?
Yes,
She
thank
is.
goodness my internet and my power are restored. We've been having a wild and crazy storm down here in Cape Cod, but it seems to be passing us by. I'm hoping it goes away quickly. Um, anyway, yes, thank you, Jason. And it's great to see so many people on this call. So we put out a call for applications and abstracts for the next Region 15 symposium. If you could, I think, advance the next slide. Thank you. Um, and Thank you. And Jason asked me to do a few slides on where we're at with the abstracts and what we're looking to do for the presentations for the Region 15 symposium coming up in Vermont.
And you know
So
what, Cheryl? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to advance the slide because we're at the agenda slide, and I think we need to be towards yours. Somehow we got mixed up. There we go. Okay. And so,
there's me, and there's enough of me, really, quite honestly. But I will say that I've been a member since I was inducted in when I was a grad student at UConn, and then I also joined Beta Zeta when I became a faculty member at Elms College in Chicopee. So I've been to a lot of schools. I've graduated from a lot of places, but right now I'm working at Bay Path University. I joined them a while back to open up the DNP FNP program, and then I stepped away from that full-time job, and I'm teaching in the DNP FNP program. And mostly what I do is review abstracts and help students with their DNP projects, their QI projects. So I read a lot of abstracts, and I'm working a lot with students getting their writing of their proposals and the 5-chapter report when they finish their research. But so we're really excited to be part of this unprecedented growth in our research submissions. When you look at this graph, I love the graphs that they tell us so much. We had a 325% year over year increase. I remember when we put out the call for abstracts, Jason, and we thought, well, we had what, 16 last year, maybe we'll double it, maybe we'll have 30 or 35 if we're really lucky. And we have 68. So
crazy.
fortunately, we have some great reviewers. I'm one of them. We're going to be reviewing these, and I think our deadline's coming up in a couple of weeks to get those reviewed. But it's really exciting because if we look at the next slide, I think it'll show where we got the abstracts are being submitted from. All of the New England states and Canadian provinces have submitted. So what is really great is there's such diversity in the backgrounds and the schools that are going to be represented. as well as some clinical settings, I think, that have produced some great abstracts for us to look at. So I'm excited about that.
And Cheryl, not to interrupt you, but one of the things we weren't able to get on here is that, yes, we were overwhelmingly represented by our geographical boundaries here, but we had Alaska, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, California, Arizona. Like we had places that we just didn't anticipate. And again, is it the fall foliage time? Do people want, and something for other regions to consider is that maybe
Yeah.
there are just draws to a region. And it will be interesting once we do our quality analysis and look at some of those surveys and metrics that go out to see what we get. And that's why we did have some of our abstract submitters actually on the call tonight. And it was just sort of drop in the chat, was that the poll, or, give us some feedback. Um, so go on, Cheryl. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's exciting. And if we, trying to riff off of what you said, if you have a destination site venue for a meeting like this, symposium, educational event, I mean, that's a draw for people who might want to see the sites in the area. So, yeah, that's, Vermont in the fall, what could be better?
And
If it's
as you're
beautiful.
saying that, I want to give a huge shout out. Jill Folsom, are you on? Can you say hello?
Hi, everybody.
So, Jill, I am so glad. So, Jill, let's not forget, Jill is over. She is one of our chapter sponsors, and she's at SUNY Plattsburgh, the North Country of New York. So we've got the North Country of New York actually, who's part, and I don't know why, Jill, but even on the Sigma website, they don't even put that on there. So you're part of Region 15. Let's not forget about SUNY Plattsburgh because they're amazing. I just had to give you that shout out, Jill.
Well, thank you. And it's not only Sigma that seems to forget we're here.
Well,
I think we get lumped in with Quebec quite often.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So go ahead, Cheryl. Thank you for letting me interrupt.
Well, as you can see by looking at this pie chart, that we have one out of every three submissions is from a student. And that's pretty awesome. I'm hoping some of them are, I'm assuming some of them are PhD students, DNP students, and maybe some undergrad students. So we're excited to have that. We have 70% from professional nurses. So, but 30% of our submissions from students, as a faculty member for 40 something years, is really is just wonderful. I love to see that. So we're excited to review those abstracts. Okay, next slide. So we have our submitters can request the type of presentation they would like to do. Once we review the abstracts, we will see whether we feel as reviewers that the abstract fits into the type of presentation that has been requested. And we might make some suggestions for something different in some cases, but you can see that we have 48 requests for posters, 38 for podium presentations, 15 for rapid rounds. And if you're not familiar with that, rapid rounds presentations are a very concise and efficient format to deliver the information. They're usually typically done within a very strict 5 to 6 minute time period. And then the Pecha Kucha presentations, that's another very precise, visually driven type of presentation format where the speaker shows typically around 20 slides, each displayed for 20 seconds. It's very time limited. So again, you're looking at about a 6 to 7 minute presentation. So we have 15 requests for rapid rounds and 6 for Pecha Kucha. And sometimes the rapid round presentations are done by more than one person. It might be a team of 2 or 3 people that have worked on a particular study. Okay, next slide.
All right. We have our co-chair for this year's symposium and president of Omega Mu chapter, Karen McKenney.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little bit hoarse, just getting over a little bout of pneumonia, so forgive me if my voice cracks a little bit. So I didn't get Jason any information about myself, but I actually went to UVM nursing school. I was born in the building that I work in. I'm a nurse manager of the cardiac cath lab right now. I've been in the cath lab since 1991 and been a nurse leader for most of my career. I've also been a Sigma member since 2008 and on a board continuously since that time in Vermont. Both with Kappa Tau and then with the Mega Mu. I know Ann Laramie's on the call, and she's the only other person I can think of in Vermont that may have been continuously on a board in the state for 17 years, like I have. But it's been a great pleasure. I've loved working with Sigma. I've also have a lot of experience with putting together and planning national and regional conferences. I know Julie Basil's on the call tonight. She is our amazing conference coordinator for the Nursing Research Symposium that started with Kappa Tau when I was there, and then grew so big that we made it its own nonprofit, and it continued on. I think we're in our 15th year. I was on the board of that for quite a while, and finally just tried to narrow my scope a little bit. I've also been a nurse planner for cardiology for the Vizient group, which anyone who's in a hospital setting knows is a huge national academic center hospital consortium, and has a big annual conference in Vegas of about 20 or 30,000 people a year, and was on the planning committee to do a 2-day cardiology piece of that. So I love doing events. I love doing conferences. I love being around the bright and talented people who present. It's been inspiring throughout my whole career being involved in Sigma, and being able to be surrounded by all of you and our students who I adore. I recently sent out communication just to our newest. We just inducted a team of, I think we're 38 new inductees. So I've been communicating with them throughout the spring about the symposium, letting them know what's going on, encouraging them to attend either in person or virtually, setting up our Circle website with more information on how to register. I'm super excited. Jason is a force of nature, as all of you on the planning committee know. It's hard to keep. He's fabulous. I think we're going to put on an amazing conference. I'm really really happy to be part of this group and really proud of what we're putting together, and welcoming people to Vermont, where I've lived my entire life. Jason, was there anything else that you wanted me to touch on?
No, if there were any updates or anything for the chapter, I think, we've got such a great membership at Omega
Yeah.
Mu, and
Yeah, we're really fortunate. We have about 14 members on our board and on our committees. We're having our transition meeting coming up on June 5th, where we'll thank our retiring board members and welcome our new ones. This is our major focus for the fall, obviously. I'm hoping we can get together and do some fun networking things this summer. Last year, we went out on the Spirit of Ethan Allen, which is a beautiful 3-decker boat that tours around Lake Champlain, and we had a little brunch together. I'm hoping we can do that this summer too. We also typically do a lot of walkathons in the fall. So we have 2 for Alzheimer's, we have 2 for breast strides against breast cancer, that we're going to be doing this fall, and then of course this huge lift that everyone's going to be working on, and then ongoing plans throughout the winter for. We do a Heart of Leadership networking event around Valentine's Day, where we invite students and members just to get together, have dinner. It's very informal. It's really about networking. And then, of course, planning for annual meeting and induction for the spring. It's a great little chapter. And I'm really excited about the symposium. I can't wait.
you've made this year fun in a lot of ways. You've tempered me. She's been my stay, which has been good because I've had a couple of things, within the last month that just were not anticipated. And but it's been great. Thank you so much, Karen, for making it. I know you've been on the mend with a cold and all that, so
Uh,
glad you could join.
so many things. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you more than I can say.
All
I'm
right.
just going to go get a drink of water, but I'll be right back.
No, yeah, drop and anyone, listen, you can drop in, drop out. This is, we're a fun group. We're a really great group. I'm very excited. I'm actually going to have Emily go to the next slide because I think one of the highlights for this year's symposium is going to be a wonderful opening ceremony. I don't know how many of you here know about the Green Mountain Nurses Honor Guard or know about the Honor Guard of nurses. If you do, drop it in the chat. If you know any history, if you know someone across the region. But Heather, are you on tonight?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful to see you. Okay.
Hi.
This is great that you could join us, and we are just so honored that you're going to be with us this year. And so I'll let you sort of talk about the Honor Guard and what your role is going to be, um, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, great. Thank you for having us. I'm sorry I didn't wear my whites tonight, but you'll have to wait and see about that in October. The Green Mountain Nurses Honor Guard is composed of active and retired nurses who volunteer their time to honor and pay tribute to nurses who have passed away, who devoted their lives to the nursing profession. We attend funerals, graveside services, or celebrations of life. Our group was founded by Regina Clark last year, and we currently have about 25 members. For our lamp lighting ceremonies, we wear our traditional white uniforms, caps, and capes. We process in carrying a lit nightingale lamp, the symbol of our profession. We recite the non-denominational nurse's prayer and perform the nightingale tribute. We place a white rose on the casket or beside the urn, and the nurse we are honoring is called to their final duty with a roll call. We then release them from their duty, and the lamp is extinguished and given to their family. We know that even a retired nurse is sought out for their knowledge, compassion, and skills. So when we extinguish a lamp in our ceremony, we're releasing that nurse from their formal duty that they've carried for most of their lives. Acknowledgement of their incredible service of their loved one by their colleagues is very moving for families, and we believe can help them in their grief process. We do wear the traditional white uniforms as a respect for all the nurses who have come before us, whose shoulders we stand upon. We've enjoyed in our careers wearing comfy, colorful scrubs, but most of the nurses we honor most certainly would have had to wear traditional uniforms. The capes we wear are the traditional blue with red lining, first worn by the U.S. military and the Red Cross nurses of World War I. But capes have been worn by nurses as long ago as the 1850s in the Crimean War, when our foremother, Florence Nightingale, and her nurses wore woolen ones as they tended soldiers on the battlefield. We would like to, in the future, have enough members to enable us to attend any service around the state that we're called to do. We also think it's an important time to remind our communities that many of us still see nursing as our vocation and are dedicated to serving and advocating for our patients, even as we are advocating for ourselves to have better working conditions and for our own financial well-being. We also hope that by honoring our profession, it may inspire younger Vermonters to start their nursing journeys as well. Any funds we raise are used to provide these services free of charge for families. We give a lamp to each family as a keepsake, and we provide the white rose and candle. We have operating expenses like keeping up our website and printing pamphlets, and we're hoping in the future to be able to assist some nurses who volunteer with us with maybe expenses for their capes, or even for some travel expenses for the long distance that we have to travel all around the state for services. We look forward to honoring Sigma members this fall for the regional conference and are able to customize our service to suit your needs.
That's really great, Heather. I'm just so glad that you can join us. We're really looking forward to having the group with us. Any questions that you have or any other announcements from the group that you want to share? Okay. Well, thank you. And we'll go to the next slide. I think we're just going to talk a little bit about the venue that we're hosting this at. It's at the Dudley H. Davis Center. We are going to have the Grand Maple Ballroom. We've got all the rooms up there. There's still plenty of, sponsorship and vendor opportunities. I don't know, if people are interested in learning more about that, you can drop your name in the chat. You can go to our website, region15symposium.org. There's a lot of information on there. But what we're going to do now, we've got my chair of our awards and recognition committee, because we have something new this year for our symposium. and Wendy Sargent from UMass Beta Zeta at large. Next slide, please, Emily, is with us, and take it away, Wendy.
Hello, everyone. I am just impressed with so many people on the call tonight. So thank you. Thank you for coming out. We are so excited about the award ceremony that we're going to do the day before. Can you go to the next slide, please? Great. So it's Friday, October 3rd from 5 to 7 p.m. in a Hampton Inn, and it's free. It's a free event. Thank you, Row Chapter, Sigma Tau Rho at Quinnipiac University. We really, really appreciate that. And a special recognition to Larry Slater, Dean and Professor of the School of Nursing. Is he on tonight?
No, he could not be here.
Oh, gosh. He was so instrumental. So thank you, Larry. You'll see it in the notes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's go to the next slide. These are the list of awards categories. So we have the Nurse Researcher of the Year, Nurse Legend, Chapter Rising Star Award, Chapter Excellence and Mentoring Award, Frontline Nursing Excellence Award, and Dr. E. Ann Sherrington Legacy Award Scholarship. So all of these really show and signify contributions in nursing. And we want to highlight as many as we can. So about the award ceremony, it's going to, we'd like to continue this event and the future regional 15 symposiums. So this is a start. I know there are probably tons of other awards we could give out. We had to pick a few, and then we're going to expand on them. Another highlight is that we don't have to go to the biennial convention, which we know is a little costly and timely, that we can do this locally. And I think the more we get together, the better it is that we join each other together. Let's see. It also connects the nursing community.
I think another part of that too, Wendy, that you bring up is that, it's so expensive sometimes to go to Biennium, and they only give us these little rooms. And, we're a region. We want to come together and celebrate our own milestones. We've had a chapter, I think it was Moo Chapter, 70 years, and our region, we have some of the, best nursing schools in the Northeast, and they turn out such incredible research and work. And to be able to be together as a region, offer this for free. The Christian dropped the link. Submit someone, submit a name. That's why we have an awards committee, because they want to go through, they want to give a concerted effort of looking at all the people who are submitted. So please go to that link, have a colleague in mind. Nancy, I see your hand up, so please.
All right. I wanted to ask two things. We're nominating one person, or we'll have more than one person for each of these awards. And number two, are we going to acknowledge chapters who are celebrating significant anniversaries, whether it be 51 or 21 during that evening?
We discussed as a group that we wanted to honor the anniversaries during this biennium, 2023, 2025. So we will honor those anniversaries. We're going to honor the new presidents-elects and the presidents. We are having those, the 6 different categories of the awards, and a few surprises up our sleeves. So I'm going to leave you in a little bit of suspense. But we also want to honor.
My question, though, is can we award one of these awards to more than one person? Because we
Of
have
course,
such a
yes.
large.
You can.
What I was saying, and I didn't realize I was muted. I wanted to know, say one of these awards, I don't remember the names of them. Can we award that to more
Let's
than
go
one
back a
person?
slide, Emily. Sorry, we can go back so we can see all the names of the ward
So,
categories.
for instance, a nurse researcher of the year, we may have more than one person that we want to acknowledge because of the great work that they've done. A mentoring award, there may be some chapters, more than one chapter that has someone that has done an excellent job at mentoring. So I'm wondering, will we be giving more than one award, or are we going to limit ourselves to just one?
Well, we're going to have to limit for one right now because of funding, because obviously we want to give a quality award out to someone. We really came together as a group and said, we don't want to give just a paper certificate out. We want to have these 6 award categories, and so we will have one from each category. That doesn't mean that you can't go and submit additional, people for, if you had 6 people in mind to submit for that award, go ahead and do that. But we can only recognize one right now in each of these categories. And a big part of that too is, funding and money. Now as time goes on, we might be able to do more of that. But I think for right now, this is new and we wanted to make it meaningful. We wanted to test the waters. And as we move forward, that might change. Anything else, Wendy, on that? I think we have a slide on the nomination process, Emily, if you want to go to that slide. And Wendy, do you want to just finish up talking about that?
Yes. So to submit the nominations, there is in the chat, the forms.office.com. You can do it. It's, I was testing it out. It's very easy to do. It flows. You don't have to do a whole lot of um, writing and things of that sort. So it's an easy form to do. And then the tickets for deadline. Sorry, the deadline for submissions is August 15th, and the tickets are available on the Eventbrite to attend the award ceremony. We
And
are.
then,
Go ahead.
and then just maybe a little bit about how the committee is going to do that selection process.
Oh, so we're gonna get. Oh well. We'll review each submission, and we have a rubric to grade it, and from there, we'll decide as a committee.
Great. Deb Kramlich, you have your hands up.
Yeah, maybe I missed this, but where would we find the criteria for each of those awards? So that,
In the
if we
office
wanted,
form. In
what's
the
that?
office form, when you go to the link, it will have all the criteria.
Oh, okay. So I did go to the link and I didn't want to start filling things out. So once you get past the nominators information and go to the next page, there will be some criteria there for each one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there anywhere though that I'd like to see it ahead of time so that I can write the submission and then go in and, do copy and paste or whatever. So is that published anywhere? Do we just have to go into the forms and fill it out on the fly?
Yeah, again, this is learning steps for us, right? Like it's first. I know it might not all go smooth, but that's unfortunately how we have it now. Now that doesn't mean that we couldn't print that out separately before, so people could actually on the form just download that and then proceed in. So I think we could talk to Larry about that, Wendy, and just say, you know what? Let's give people when they go there the criteria, and then they can go in and it will make it much easier. And then Karen, you had your hand up.
Yeah, and you could also maybe send out the criteria in one of your blast emails to the region so that
Yeah,
people can see that criteria well in advance. The other thing I just wanted to tag on to Wendy is, we're asking people to go into Eventbrite and register for the award ceremony, not because there's a fee, because it is free, but just so that we can prepare, because we're going to do some heavy hors d'oeuvres and have a nice space at the Hampton Inn. So we just want to get sort of a rough head count. So so it'll be super helpful if people did register for both events.
And I also want to mention our keynote, Melanie Dreer will be joining us. We're going to have Luke Davis, the CEO of Sigma, with us. This is going to be a really well done event. If I know how Karen puts on a party, and so please, there's more to come. We're in May still. We've got until August 15th. More is going to come out. Yes, Nancy.
Another question I have, will we have a photographer that's going to be taking photos of this event and also during the symposium?
Yes, and there actually, when you register, there is that video that comes up that you need to accept when you get your tickets to know that there's going to be a videographer. So that's on there, and we do have someone. I'm gonna just to keep. We do have questions towards the end. I want to make sure we get through the content. We have Ashley Sakadon, our chair of sponsorships, who I know is very excited tonight. Go ahead, Ashley.
Hi, okay. Thanks. So I'm Ashley Sackett. Next slide. So we, if you couldn't tell, Jason and myself and all of us are really excited about not only this year's symposium, but the sponsorship potential for this year's symposium. So looking at our sponsorship opportunities, we are offering 4 tiers. So platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. They all offer some really excellent benefits, including attendance, visibility, opportunities for network. So platinum is $2,000. You're getting some really good recognition and visibility, and 2 representatives are able to attend and host a booth at the symposium. For gold, you're getting a lot of recognition as well, and registration for 1 representative. Silver gold is $1,000, and then silver is $500. Still getting some really good recognition, and then we do offer the bronze for $100 as well. So we've got those tiers there, and as of right now, we've raised over $4,000 currently. And additionally, we have about 4 or 5 sponsors that are just sort of pending some official approval from their appropriate representatives to be able to give us that official yes about wanting to sponsor. And many more communications plan to going out in the process of going out in terms of those partnerships. Next slide, please. And then in collaboration with our chapters, so we, in raising the funds, we really have also had some good support so far from chapters who really want to fuel the success, who really believe in this symposium and want to make it as great as it can be. So far, we actually have an update. We have 8 chapters who have shown support at $2,000 now. So really excited about that. Really grateful to all of these chapters here, and Delta Upsilon is the next one that could be added there, which is my chapter, and we supported after our board meeting last night. So really excited about that support. Truly great to see how much the chapters really want this to be as great as it can be. And then next slide. So we're really grateful to the support of organizations and the support of chapters, but we also think the symposium is really just a great opportunity for them, and it truly is a partnership with the organization. So what do sponsors have to gain from sponsoring the symposium? Well, they're gaining access to key decision makers in healthcare. Our attendees on average have a huge influence in terms of their purchasing potential, with influence on those organizations and their decisions around purchasing, and a great majority of attendees will share that what they've gained, what they've learned with a bunch of people, at least 5 people, colleagues after attendance. Next slide. And one more slide. Yes, thank you. And then, so sponsors really aren't just funding an event, they are really investing and represent. So they are investing in advancing nursing through science, through art, through innovation. And our target is $10,000 raised in sponsorships to maximize this accessibility. In order to reach that goal, we've got to share our sponsorship opportunity information within our professional networks, help to connect those people with the planning committee. So connect that planning committee with those potential sponsors so we can make that connection and get that sponsorship. And we're also asking chapters to consider sponsorship if they haven't already contributed. It's really great to be able to support to support the symposium. And of course, we're hoping that everyone, as always, can go out and promote early registration at this, what sounds to be a really unique and wonderful event, especially with our opening ceremony and everything. So in order to maximize that attendance, we're really hoping that the word really gets out. And I think people will be really excited about it. And then I just have one more slide after this. And so sponsorship really does keep nursing education affordable, which I think is important to everyone. Every $1,000 raised in sponsorships allows for about 10 nursing students to be able to attend the symposium for free, which I know you heard Jason talk about the value of nursing students with Sigma in the very beginning there. And it also decreases the cost for all other attendees by about $5 each with every $1,000 raised. So it really helps to keep this affordable. And that's why we're so excited, we're so motivated to go out there and try and get those sponsorships. I think so far we've done a really good job, but there's so much more potential for this symposium. So more work to be done, but I think we've done pretty good so far.
Phenomenal job, Ashley. And I just want to say, between you and Lisa, last year, what we saw with the potential of this. And I think the reason why we have more, if we can get our 32 chapters, right, to support this, and we can keep costs low, I think that's something they feel good about because they know it's an investment in us. And if our symposium is doing healthy sustainability wise, we can keep moving that forward. We can promote helping your chapters send your members to biannual. We can help support them with their research that they're doing. This money is really, ours to use and invest. So I'm going to have you go back, Emily, to this here. So I want to introduce your 2025-2027 Symposium Leadership Team. These are all members who are with us tonight that you've heard from and you've talked about. The way that this symposium started was that there would be one chapter that would take it over and reinvent the wheel, so to speak, every year. There was no continuity sometimes, and depending on the chapter, there could be leadership changes. Someone could have raised their hand to host this, but then they were no longer in that leadership role. Or, then COVID hit. And there really was sort of this need of the region to want to ensure the sustainability. So during this biannual, I've sort of, as a regional coordinator, and any regional coordinator who comes after or after me, it's a vetted role and it's elected. And hopefully, as a region, you select someone who has been part of this planning committee, who knows where the symposium is. I think a large part why I was nominated is because I had a few years of really trying to help the symposium and show that work. I think Deb would agree to that. And it was really important to me to create a strategic plan and vision that would help guide this and build the numbers, but one that would help foster our region and its members. So when you look for your next regional coordinator, that's the person who is sort of running it because they've been in it for a while. And then the other thing that happened is that we have these large planning committee meetings of 40 people on the same invite. And if you want to come, that's great. But there needs to be some sort of decision making in a leadership style that, maintains some control. And you can't have 40 people all at once. You don't run your chapters like that. You have your board of directors. So that's sort of what our next biannual symposium leadership team will be. We have Cheryl Shields, Nancy Thompson, Cheryl Cibola, Christian Gray, Nancy Edgecombe. Nancy, are you on the call tonight? Wasn't sure she could make it. Catherine Thomas and Deb Kramlich. Just a whole lineup of leadership that have taken this symposium from the beginning. And we will meet together as an executive leadership team for the symposium. We will continue to have all our fantastic committees. We have our awards committee now set up that's doing so well, our sponsorship committee. Everyone in this region has a right to know how this symposium is being run. And we want to produce an annual report out, an actual nice annual report. Because when we've asked for sponsorships this time around, I kind of got some feedback from people of, is this symposium, sustainable? Is it thriving? Where's the money? You can ask for a budget anytime. We need complete transparency because, again, we're in this for the students. We're in this for all of you to come to a quality symposium that you can afford, that we can come together and celebrate. I mean, I think just the energy that we've shared tonight, people know sort of what we are as a region and how we work together. That shows in just this one session. But I want us to produce a report, an annual budget report, so we can track where we're going. And everyone has a voice. We all listen. We come to the table. If there are questions, concerns, that's what we're there to do as an executive leadership team, to look at this and bring it forward and keep it going, for where it wants to be. And what does that look like? That is up to all the members within Region 15. And there are endless possibilities. We can team with international, other chapters that might not have money, that might not have access. Can we foster some of those chapters in our global network? There's just a lot of things that we can look at, and I'm just very proud of that. And someone who has helped me tremendously with all of the background stuff, who I can text at 10 o'clock at night when something's not working. I've got Christian Gray on. He's our chair of web and social media. He's going to talk a little bit about some exciting stuff we have planned.
Hi everyone. Yeah, that's the night shift brain for you working right there. So, hi everyone. My name is Christian. I have been the webmaster for Beta Zeta since 2018, and have been behind the scenes for most of the Region 15 symposium stuff. You may or may not have interacted with me on emails, Zoom chats for some of our symposiums. Um, but I am here tonight to kind of move us into the next direction of where we are going for some of our virtual stuff. As Jason has said, we are having multiple tiers, multiple opportunities for students, non-students, and everybody to participate. And we've really kind of hammered down the best way for us to move forward with these hybrid conferences. Contrary to the early days of our virtual symposiums, love them or hate them, I'll take full responsibility for those virtual poster presentations that people may or may not have loved. But we're trying to continue to build upon, this momentum that we have. And for those of you who have not checked us out yet, let me send the first link for you. This is our Region 15 Facebook group that we redesigned probably around the start of the Rhode Island run for the symposium. I also believe, Jason, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is a LinkedIn page as well that I just haven't found yet.
Not yet, but we
Okay,
might get
coming. And there's a LinkedIn page coming just to give us more opportunities to continue to reach different people through different avenues. What you'll be seeing through your chapters, and what we'll be asking of the Region 15 stuff. And that toolkit is currently being finalized now, with the wonderful team that Jason has established for some of our social media stuff, which I will try and get a preview towards the end that we can maybe show. There's actually, if you look on your email at the bottom, is kind of what some of the marketing will look like. But we'll ask that chapters continue to support Region 15 by posting on their websites. We'll continue to post in the circle. If you have your own local Facebook group, Instagram page, Twitter X account, Blue Sky accounts, whatever your chapters are using to help kind of facilitate this early registration, we'll get those to you. For the chapter leaders, I will get the names from Jason and we can reach out and get you guys linked into a drive that we will have all of these for you just to pull from so you're not looking for random emails. But one thing we are going to do this year, We are going to ask that each chapter at either their last meeting of this year or their first meeting of next year just to take a few moments and record a little greeting. We're calling it the Virtual Sigma Chapter Pride event, and at some point during the symposium, we are going to compile all of these drop-in videos into something that the different attendees, both virtually and in person, will be able to see. This can be done at your chapter meetings, any events that your chapters host. But I use my home chapter as an example of something that we could potentially do. They're going to all be mad at me at the end of this Zoom call for volunteering them to do this. But if you wear your school colors, if you have a at-large chapter wearing the group of school colors, you could do Sigma colors if you prefer that. And just having some chapter member introduce your chapter, maybe a fun fact about your chapter, and then just kind of the excitement for, what your chapter has accomplished and what, Region 15 has kind of brought to your chapter as we've continued to grow that. So again, this will all come through some Google Drives that we are going to create so that your chapter is not responsible for, hosting any of this on personal stuff. But this is just something fun that we want to kind of continue to build, that even though there are 32 chapters of Region 15, that it is a very large, big family, and trying to foster those inter-chapter relationships.
Does anyone have any questions about the Sigma Chapter Pride event?
I will have step-by-step directions written up, hopefully by the end of next week. I had a draft and I totally forgot to send it to Jason. Again, night shift brain, I apologize, but just as a quick step-by-step of how you could go ahead and do that with your chapters.
Karen, you had a question.
I think you just answered it. We have our transition meeting on the 5th of June. It would be the perfect opportunity if it's up and running by then. That'd be great, Kristen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it could just be as simple as, everybody on the screen recording the screen as we're doing for tonight's event. Karen, you could introduce your chapter. Everybody can just wave, say hi, they have their shirts on. And, it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. Now, if you
Sure.
want to go ahead and do a big production, we're not going to stop you. And you will definitely be the talk of the town at the symposium. Maybe that's next year's challenge, is who can have the biggest chapter pride video. So
I love that. I love it. Oh, that's great. And then can you speak a little bit about volunteer opportunities, Christian, if we can go to that slide, Emily?
absolutely. So at every symposium, we do look for individuals that can kind of help us out with just little things, from greeting people to help manning tables. Sigma will have a table there as well. People to help guide you in the right directions. In the past, it's been a great opportunity for students also to, network and meet some of the different chapter leaders. Talk to individuals that, were once in their shoes and where they can go. So the QR code is here. I will also try and make sure we get this out to everybody. Maybe we could do another drive for a recap from some of the links for today that we can send out to everybody. Just to, have some more people join us at the event, and it really kind of, brings this community together. Ultimately, I know you're not say ultimately, but historically, after commencement, a lot of the students do drop off of the Sigma community, and the more that we can bring them in and the more we can get them to continue working with the Sigma organization and, showing them how, much this can impact them, beyond graduation and beyond that initial nursing license. So, I was not admitted as a student before graduation. I was a community leader after the fact. So, just seeing that perspective of how much it can impact you moving forward in your nursing career is huge. And I think we just need to help bridge that gap for some students. So why not volunteer and show them what is possible?
That's really great. And this is just a nice overview of other ways that you can become involved within Region 15 on our larger committees. We definitely communication member engagement committee, fostering our social media and our emails and everything. So wonderful. We've already had some people say they'd love to volunteer. And I know it's a couple of minutes after, if we go to the last slide, we have come to questions and answers. I'm just so thrilled that we had such a great turnout tonight. We did record this, and so we will be distributing this out for anyone who missed it. But want to take this time right now to just open it up for any questions or conversation people would like to have.
I'm sorry,
Nancy?
could
Oh.
you tell me again, where the award ceremony was being held?
Yeah, at the Hampton, Colchester, the Hampton Inn in Colchester.
Which state? I'm sorry, is it
Oh, I'm
Vermont?
sorry, in Vermont.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we do have a room block there too. We'll get that on. Oh, that's another important thing I do want to mention. So, October 4th, it is fall foliage. And if you want a room, book now. If you go to our website, region15symposium.org, our room blocks are on there. Hampton Inn is not, but if you call the Hampton Inn, they will more than be happy to book you into that room block. Go now because the rates will increase. And you can share rooms. We've got a great selection of rooms. We've got the Best Western, we've got the Doubletree, we've got the Hampton Inn, we've got the Marriott. We've got 4 good hotels. Please book in advance. Fall foliage just around here gets crazy. Um, Other questions? Yes, Nancy.
First of all, yes, this was a really well done meeting and very informative. I just want to bring up the issue. It's not related to the symposium itself, but I hope some of our chapters are in the throes of developing or completing their application for the Key Award. It's very extensive this year, but I just wanted to bring that up because the application deadline is either July 1st or July 15th. I don't know, maybe Karen, Karen Cianci. Some of us are going to
The
be
15th, Nancy, 15th,
okay, July
15th, yeah,
15th. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen.
Welcome.
Some of us are going to be have been selected to review the applications. It's a very involved process, but it would be a wonderful way again for Region 15 to be highlighted. So if people are having some difficulty, some of us at Beta Zeta have been working on ours all year. Zip me an email and we'd be happy to help. And Karen's nodding her head. I know she would too. And I'm sure Deb Kremlick would.
I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I'm going to stay on because, sometimes we like casual conversation. I